Day 46. In a 2019 podcast, Kobe Bryant, before his passing, was talking about his very disciplined training routine. He was highly regimented and spent a lot of hours, notoriously spent a lot of hours in the gym, playing basketball, working out. Was very much known to be one of the most disciplined and kind of lengthy trained athletes. And I've said this quote before, but I don't think I've really meditated on it in videos, and I don't think I've given him credit for saying this. But when asked like how he stuck with the training routine and why he even woke up so early every single day and spent double the time training than anyone else, he said, quote, "I'm not negotiating with myself. I signed the contract with myself. I'm doing it." And I've talked in videos about signing that contract with ourselves, to be a good friend to yourself, to be honest and truthful with yourself. And when you follow through and you are a good friend and you are an honest person that shows up for you, it's going to change your self-confidence. It's going to change the way that you view yourself, and it's going to make you more joyful as a human, because you know that you are a person that shows up and that executes for you. Oftentimes we try to execute for others, and we're the last to get around to ourselves with following through on promises. But that quote's always stuck with me. It's like, it's a done deal. He said, it's done. Like, write it down. I'm done negotiating with myself. I signed the contract with myself. I'm doing it. And I just wonder if we truly had that mindset of like signed, sealed, delivered, against all distractions and against all odds. What I set to do, I'm doing it. And again, like some people, everyone's got different goals, and I guess some people could kind of view that mentality as inflexibility with other things. But if it's something that's truly valuable to you, that you really want to put at the top of your priority list, like our relationship with God and being a good husband or father, or taking care of your body, like those things that are at the very top of our priority list, we really should have that mentality of, I'm not negotiating. We talk about that quote, burn the ships, like burn any way that you have to sail out of this thing that you've done. Get rid of those excuses and sign that contract. And it's hard because there's going to be a million other life storms and variables that come up that make us want to just sail right back into comfort. But I love that mentality. I've signed the contract. I'm doing it. A couple other quotes, and then we'll get to some scripture, but very simple quotes here. But man, they're powerful if we actually just believed it and did it. The other quotes, one of them is, 80% of success is just showing up. The other one is, your best ability is availability. And then lastly is, success is earned one day at a time. Start by showing up. Again, they always say, like, be careful of cliche quotes or any advice that rhymes. Like, I get it, it's cliche. But again, if we lived that every day, we just showed up every single day through the good and the bad, through the times where we've slept well, through the times where we've had lack of sleep, through the times we were sick and the times we were healthy. If we just showed up, like as Kobe described it, it's like if he's showing up twice as much as everyone else, and you extrapolate that over 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, that's just going to continue to expand. Like he's creating such a further gap between him and that other basketball competition. I think it's the same with our lives, with the amount of knowledge we can learn by diving into the Word, the amount of reps we do and the times we just show up in the gym, how that can over time have such a, again, an extrapolation of just positive things. And again, over like 1 week or 1 month, you're not going to notice maybe the showing up and not taking days off, but over 5 years, you absolutely will. And you will have created such a distance between not only you and others, but like you and what you thought you could achieve. You'll be so much further ahead just by showing up. again, the quote that says 80% of success is shown up. I'm not suggesting that you just show up and go through the motions every single day, but there's those small percentage of days where you absolutely don't feel it. And if you just show up anyways and do the best with what you got that day, it's going to make a difference over time. And if anything else for these videos, like day 46 today, again, not that I'm perfect. How much time you got, I can talk about all the flaws that I have and things I'm still working on. But at a minimum, like as a inspiration to myself and hopefully a couple other people, like just saying, hey, like I had this idea on December 10th, 24, and I'm just going to do it every day. Like the contract's been signed. I've signed it. I'm going to do it every day for 365 days, hopefully longer. But, I told someone that asked like a couple weeks in, like, man, are you really sure you're going to, like, maybe set a smaller goal? Are you sure you're going to be able to do that the entire year? And it's like, I already did. It's already done. Like the contract's been signed every single day. We're doing it for a year. And if anything, it's like, if you feel like you can't do something consistently, or you start to say, yeah, well, I'm going to do it, but I just got to get this thing right in my life. It just means you're not going to do it yet. But if you go into it with the mentality of the contract has been signed, I'm doing it, it can change your life. It doesn't have to be a video. It doesn't have to be the gym. It doesn't have to be at work. It could be anything in your life. Go into it with that mentality. And I just hope that these daily videos are just one small spark of inspiration for someone else, where it's like, man, if you would have asked me a couple years ago, there's no way I could have been this consistent every single day to do these videos. But when you set a high goal and you sign that contract with yourself, anything can be done. So Proverbs 19, verses 20 through 22 today. And in verse 20 it says, listen to the advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. What a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar. So the three things I wrote down from those verses quickly, it's listen to advice and accept discipline. So again, listen to the people that have gone before you, that have made mistakes and pitfalls so you can avoid things that they've done. Accept advice from mentors and people that you trust in this world, and in Christians especially. And accept discipline, and discipline yourself. Like, doesn't have to be some bad way, but set parameters, and it's through that discipline that you can really have freedom. People don't understand that. I didn't understand it back in the day. So listen to advice and accept discipline. The next thing I wrote is the Lord's purpose prevails. Like, yes, we can make plans, but at the end of the day, we need to accept and want the Lord's will to be done. And we've talked about this in previous videos, is, hey, all we can do is control our inputs, like control the process of doing the best we can in our faith and in our actions and in our physical exercises. Like, we can just control the process. And whatever is beyond that is we need to be okay with those results. And when you can frame it that way, it's like we're not in control in the grand scheme. We're not in control of the outcomes. God is. We can just take peace in the fact that we have that pure heart and that clean conscience to control the inputs, and we're doing the right things. And you can really start to be okay with the outcomes, whatever that is, whatever the Lord's purpose is. And then the last thing I wrote is, again, in verse 22, it says, better to be poor than a liar. And that's easy to say. Like, that sounds cool, everyone would probably be in agreement with that. Is like, yeah, I don't want to be a liar. Being poor is fine. Like, that sounds better. But would we really accept that in our lives? Like, would we rather be, by the world's standards, poor than be a liar? Or would we rather, kind of sell our soul a little bit and obtain power and wealth and authority, even if we're not being truly honest with others? Or you could frame it in a way of better to be poor than a liar, like to yourself. Like, you're not really looking yourself in the mirror and being honest with where you're going and what you need to improve upon. I paused it for a second because Jocko Willink has another quote that hit me yesterday in a video I was watching. Something to the effect of, discipline is the start of, or discipline is the foundation of truth. And something about like being honest with yourself is the foundation of truth. So just the mentality of like, you've got to be real with where you're at, what you've messed up, what you need to improve upon. And a lot of people are unwilling to do that. But I think if we can truly start there, that's where you can build that foundation for growth ahead. So lastly, just to recap, I am not negotiating with myself. I signed the contract. I'm doing it. And again, Proverbs 19 through 23, listen to advice, accept discipline, accept the Lord's purpose, and that will prevail over our own. And instead of being a liar, I would rather strip everything away in my life, be poor by the world's standards, but be honest with where I'm at and have good intentions and not have any, as it talks about in other scriptures, not have any dishonest gain. Day 46.